everybody. This is Miss Nicole from Bloomfield Public Library presenting our first video in the Science Bytes series. And what I wanted to do was to bring some very short, no longer than 15-minute videos to your house and show you some fun little science experiments and projects you could do right in your home with some very basic household supplies. As I noted on our events calendar, if for some reason you notice that you don't have some of these supplies at home, a lot of us are making fewer trips to the store than we used to, give our library a call. We might be able to provide some of them via our curbside service, assuming that we have them at the library. So do give us a call. We can see what we can do if you're missing something. But for today, I wanted to do magic milk with everybody. And there are a lot of people who do this experiment online. My favorite version is from Steve Spangler. He's one of my science gurus that I always go to. And magic milk is so fun because it's so super easy and there are a lot of fun results that come from it. So before we get into the actual experiment, I wanted to just quick talk about milk. And I have a couple kinds here, but just regular milk. And when you're thinking about milk, you have to understand that milk is really mostly made up of water, and floating in that solution are lots of vitamins and minerals and fat molecules. And those fat molecules do not dissolve in water or in the milk. They're just free floating in the milk, just like those vitamins and minerals. So if we think about this glass of water as if it was a glass of milk, pretend this is a glass of milk. Inside our glass of milk, we're going to have tons of little free-floating vitamins and minerals. I'm using the little colored sprinkles to demonstrate that. So we've got all these floating vitamins and minerals. And then my little chocolate chips here are going to be the fat globs, the little fat molecules. And those are all going to be floating around inside that solution. Now, what we're going to do today is use a little color and make all of those fat molecules swirl around in the milk. So I'm going to set this aside. And what we need today for our experiment, you need a plate. Ideally something that's a solid plate, or if it's going to be a paper plate, ideally you'd want it to be coated. So, because we're going to put liquid in it, and you don't want a paper plate to disintegrate. I did put a plastic cover down on my table, and I always recommend that whenever you're working with color, you put some sort of protective sheet underneath, because if you've ever worked with liquid food coloring, you know it stains. It does stain clothing. It will stain your fingers and hands for a while. It takes a while to wash off, so I may put on gloves in a little bit, but you can also just be careful at home. It will come off of hands eventually, but clothes it may stain permanently, so you want to be careful. If you have an apron at home or an old t-shirt, you might want to put that on. We're also going to use milk. I have two kinds, and this is so we can do a little further experimenting, but if you have just one kind at home, that's all right. I have whole milk and low-fat milk, and I bought the small quantities just so I could use them today. I let them sit at room temperature for just a little bit. I don't think it necessarily matters if it does, but you could test that at home as part of your experimenting if you wanted to. Have some milk stay in the fridge until you're about to use it, and then have some come closer to room temperature. I also have dish soap. I always prefer Dawn. There's something magical about Dawn dish soap. I don't know what it is, but I think any dish soap would work. Again, this is not hand soap that you would clean your hands with in the bathroom. This is dish soap. So you want to use dish soap. And I have liquid food coloring. They usually come in a box like this, and inside are the little, oops, I'm going to just dump them out, the little tubes of liquid food coloring. I have 4 colors, red, green, blue, and yellow. And the last thing is Q-tips. And if you don't have Q-tips, if you had, you could roll up a piece of paper, you could use a straw, anything that you're going to be able to dip into the soap and then make, then be able to dip into the milk. That would be great. So now we're about to begin our experiment. So now let's begin the magic milk experiment. First thing you want to do is take the milk of your choice. I'm going to start with whole milk because I know whole milk has a little extra fat than other milks. And I'm going to pour it right into the plate. You don't need tons of milk, but you want to make sure it covers the surface of the plate. And you're going to let it sort of settle and slow. So when you first pour it, you'll see it's moving around a little bit. You want it to sort of settle into place. I have an extra plate here, which I'm going to pour some of my dish soap into. You don't need a ton. I'm just going to squeeze out a little chunk of it. Next thing you want to do is get your Q-tips ready. So I'm going to pull out 2 because we're going to do this in 2 steps. So I have 2 Q-tips. I'm going to put that aside. And then for me, because I know food coloring always stains my fingers, I never hold it right, I'm going to put on some gloves just so that I do not stain my fingers, because I'm also going to be doing a lot of story time videos this week. So I'm going to put on these gloves like so, just to make sure I don't get food coloring on my fingers. Again, if you're doing this at home, it will stain your fingers for a few days if you get it on your fingers, but it will come off. So now what we're going to do is take the colors of our choice. You can take a bunch of them, and you're going to just squeeze some drops of liquid food coloring into your plate. I'm just going to, you don't want to squeeze too much. You want to definitely do it a drop at a time. You don't want to squeeze the color in. That's never a good thing. So I'm going to do a little yellow now in a few spots. And I'll do some blue. The brighter the colors, the better it's going to look, of course. And you want to make sure when you're adding the drops, you spread them out. You don't want all the colors clumped together in the center of the plate. And I'm going to do some red. We'll round it out with some red. Okay. So now, step 1, we're going to take a plain Q-tip, nothing on it. And we're going to let the plate settle, make sure nothing's moving around. Looks like everything's holding in place. And I'm going to slowly just put that Q-tip right in the center of things. I'm not going to swirl it around, I'm just putting it into the center of the milk. And as you can see, nothing is happening. All right? I'm going to slowly pull that out, put it down next to me. Now we are going to take our second Q-tip and we're going to roll it in that dish soap a little bit, just so that it's coated in dish soap. Doesn't need to be dripping with dish soap, you just need to get it on there nice and good. So now I've got dish soap on the end of my Q-tip, and now I'm going to stick that in the center of my plate. And look what happens. All those colors are swirling around like crazy. This is what's happening. When we put that soap into the milk, all those soap molecules are actually racing around that glass of milk, the milk in our plate, and they're trying to attach themselves to all of those floating fat molecules. So as the fat molecules are swirling and contorting and trying to get away from the soap, they're taking all those color molecules with them. So all the color is getting swirled around the plate as the soap is chasing after the fat and latching itself onto those fat molecules. All right, so again, picture our glass here. Of course, everything's sunk to the bottom, but imagine all of our little fat molecules. Picture those chocolate chips swirling around in here, and the minute we drop soap molecules in there, the soap molecules are trying to attach themselves to all those individual fat molecules. All right, and now you will see mine is actually, even without me having my Q-tip in the milk, it is still swirling around and moving. You can also add a little more soap and go to a different part of your plate and still get it to move around in different areas. It will continue to move around until there really aren't any more fat molecules for the soap molecules to attach themselves to. And you can look at that without even adding more soap. If I just move the soap Q-tip around, I'm getting it to move. And I am seeing maybe it's slowing down a little bit. Eventually it will slow down and then it will stop. You do not need to add a lot of extra color at this point. You know, what people usually want to do with food coloring is they want to add tons. They think the more food coloring, the better. And really that's not necessary. A little goes a long way. So you can do a lot with the color that's in here. If you keep adding food coloring, you're going to overload the plate with color, and you're not going to see as much of the cool swirling and patterns that happen. You're not going to observe as much. It's not as easy to see what's happening. So again, definitely add a lot, in the beginning, add color drops, maybe 5 or 6 of each color that you have, but then play with just that for a while, and then maybe try a fresh plate of milk. One way you can take this a little further, the fun part about being scientists is you get to ask questions and then test them and see what happens. So one thing you could do is try out if you had 2 kinds of milk, you can now try low-fat milk and see if the results were the same. You could try doing one that's if you had a jug of one kind of milk, try one that's been sitting in the fridge and is cold, and then try another batch that's been brought to room temperature. See if there's a difference. And before you test, always make a guess. Guess at what you think might happen. What do you think will happen if we use the low-fat milk instead of the whole milk, which has the full fat? My personal guess, would be that we'll get a better result with the whole milk because there's more fat molecules. So there's going to be a longer amount of time for those soap molecules to chase the fat molecules around the milk because there's more of them. And there's going to be less of them in the low-fat milk. So I think you'll still get a reaction, but it probably won't last as long because there are less fat molecules. So those are the kinds of questions you can ask yourself. I will, when I post this video on our YouTube site, I will also post links to very detailed explanations from Steve Spangler about what's happening when you do this experiment. I could get very technical, but I am not a scientist. I just like science. I'm a science enthusiast. So I sometimes am a little confused by some of the science myself. But I love learning. So I keep poking at it and exploring and seeing what I can come up with and learning new things every day. So I gave you a very basic explanation of what's happening. If you're really into science and you want the really nitty-gritty detail, you can go to Steve Spangler's blog and he'll have all sorts of information about what's actually happening with those molecules in the milk. But that's it for our very first Science Bite video. And look forward to more in the coming weeks. It's going to be very simple projects that you can do at home. And I hope you've enjoyed this. And we'll see you on the next one.